So in the spirit of Nelson Mandela Day, a young Northern Cape businesswoman will be donating personalized hygiene packs, share a hot meal and cake with survivors of gender-based violence. Now, the statistics say over 70 women will receive hygiene packs and interact with activists and fellow survivors. One of the speakers includes a local book author who published a memoir about her experiences with an abusive partner. And the backdrop of all of those shocking statistics around gender-based violence. Here's Ulrich Hendricks, who's on the story for us, joins us now for a live update. So Ulrich, take us through what is happening there.
Hi, good morning, Lucy. Well, of course, Nelson Mandela Day was yesterday, but the giving did not stop there. Today, as you said, a local businesswoman will, of course, give back to victims or survivors of gender-based violence. As you also said, one of the speakers will be a local author who wrote a book about gender-based violence. What she went through. Levrin Akom, let's advocate. Let's speak to her now. Tell us, we still have shocking statistics in terms of gender-based violence. Northern Cape is no different.
That's correct. What I've realized is that women are not being taken seriously in terms of the violence happening, even in the homes, in the workplace, in public, even into the courtroom, violence is happening. And I think it's time, even as it's Nelson Mandela Day today, to give back for even the men to come on board, for our president to come on board and to take seriously, all of the laws that has been enacted in order to, it's good to say we have laws, but we need to get it onto the ground where it can make a difference. And I feel at this stage, women are still not being heard. They go to the police station, make cases, dockets are disappearing, women are being issued interdicts without even getting warrants of arrest. So it's really an issue, and the courts and the judiciary and subs have to come together, I think, to join forces to help to end the scourge of gender-based violence and domestic violence.
So your personal experience of GBV, you wrote a book about it. Tell us how can other women that are coming here today, how will your story assist them?
My story will assist them to know that against all odds, you do not give up. Because I am a survivor of domestic violence. It wasn't physical, but it was emotional, it was psychological, it was verbal and mental as well. And I had to dig deep inside of myself. I didn't have support of the community at one stage. I was a woman on my own. When I went through my issues, I could not even afford a lawyer at one stage. And it just made me realize if I didn't go through this journey, I would not have realized the plight of other women and other victims of gender-based violence and domestic violence. So the book that I wrote, it was about my journey and the journey of the women in Africa. And I also wrote a book of life after my divorce, when even my children were unlawfully removed from my care by the judiciary. And I had to fight. It felt like I'm fighting a losing battle. But eventually, things just seemed to turn around because I didn't give up on myself or on my children. And I think for the women out there, the message is do not give up. Even if you cannot afford a lawyer, even if you do not know, if nobody helps you, God is there to help us at the end of the day. And because of my faith in God as well, I had to dig deep down inside of me and ask God to help me through my challenges. Not to fade into the background, if one can use that term, but to step out and to stand up for myself. And because I stood up for myself, I can stand up for other women now that I am in the judiciary. And I fight, even this week, I had to go and fight also for women, for the rights of women to be respected. So I will go to interdict court, I will do what must be done, and I will continue the fight against gender-based violence and domestic violence, even in the courts.
Advocate, now you're talking about women who have already said that I have a problem, I need to do something about it. But we also have a large amount of women who are still trapped in these domestic situations that are not good for them? What sort of advice will you give those women who are still trapped in those situations?
My advice would be, the first thing is find somebody that you can talk to, confidential. The second option, if it becomes very physical, go to SABC, go make the case, take out the interdict and follow the court processes. And I know there are women that stay because of the children, because what will happen to me and my children? And I know there are many women out there, some are even housewives, that were not allowed to continue their studies because the husband wanted the wife to be at home. And the abuse happens within the home. So she's not equipped to go out and fend for herself and her children. So my advice would be is to women, stand up even in your situation. And if the violence becomes so bad, you have to leave. You can't stay for the sake of the children, or what will the people say, or what will the community say, or the family. If your life is in danger, you have to get out. If it's a pastor of a church, if it's an imam, it doesn't matter. If it's somebody, a tribal chief, if it's anybody out there that can assist elders in the community, then as a woman, you have to go and approach the authorities or someone that you can trust. And if push comes to shove, take your children, or if you don't have children, you have to remove yourself from the situation. Otherwise, they will carry your body out in a body bag. And that is what we want to prevent, what I would like to prevent. I wouldn't like to see another woman die because she was not taken seriously, or because she feels, I can't get out, where will I go? You know, there are options out there. I know there's power as well. I have not interacted yet with power, but I know that in the case of severe abuse, go to SABC, reach out to them. There are shelters as well for women. But I know also there's also the problem that we have with the shelters. They only take 15 women at a time at our Tutuzela centers. So that's a problem that our government needs to address. Because where do the women go? I give the question back. Where do they go if they have nowhere to go? And I'm woman number 16. Where do I go?
Thank you very much, Advocate Leverine. Akom, of course, giving good advice there in Kimberley, saying that women need to stand up, especially when they are in those situations of domestic abuse. Of course, the stats say it all, especially in provinces like the Northern Cape. But of course, today, a day of celebration, where survivors of gender-based violence, of course, will be gifted with dignity bags, will be gifted with food hampers, etc. And they'll be, talked to, given advice in terms of what to do when they are in these situations.
Ulrich Hendricks on that story for us. Thanks very much indeed for that update.